Okay, I see. And moving on to this year, um, something that I also wanted to talk about is what were some of the things that you were doing to for this year help students learn remotely, and how's that different from previous years teaching at Pali? Because traditionally you would just teach students every 2 to 3 days in a classroom for 1.5 hours, and now it's everything's moved online. What were some of the things that you were using?
Yeah, well, so doing the transition, I was a little lost at first. I think we as an organization, the school and the district,
Mhm.
lost an opportunity when we saw the virus coming. Um, and there were some people who were sort of advocating for really trying to make it so that we could uh, be ready for closure. And I think there was a lot of denial that closure would happen until suddenly closure happened. Um, and so that made it so that I think we lost a lot of momentum in terms of what we could have done to get ready. Uh, Given that, I was nevertheless able to kind of ultimately produce a set of comprehensive videos that covers the curriculum for all the computer science classes. And for the engineering and CAD classes, I had to scale back. It's kind of hard to know. I mean, how do you teach something which is fundamentally a hands-on activity when you're not can't and fundamentally can't be physically present for with either with the materials for the students or to keep an eye on them for purposes of safety. Teaching engineering was something that I mean, I now have some ideas for, but it will take some time to kind of get it together. And just coming up with it in the moment was not something that I could think of how to do. And
Okay.
so I settled on creating some assessments for students to use in reference to a decent set of CAD videos I found.
Uh-huh.
And that made it so that at least they had something to kind of do to kind of learn about something systematic. In some ways, that might have actually been better for some of the students in that particular situation than because it provided sort of I got less ambitious with that class. And sometimes when you get less ambitious with the class, you actually cause the students are actually able to pick up more because you're just focusing on the basics.
Right, that makes sense. So it was all kind of a very sudden process. It just suddenly, before you guys even started thinking about moving school to online, it just one day you guys just are within a week, or when did you guys start planning to move school online for Pali?
So at some point in time, one of the teachers in my department sent an email off to the other teachers in the department and said, hey, why don't we get ready for the possibility of needing to close down? And I thought that was a great idea. And I said, well, okay, I'll do something to kind of start to prepare, and we'll uh, actually have the students not come into the classroom for one day, see what comes up. Because you cannot, this is one of the things I learned from industry, you
Uh-huh.
cannot figure out how to do something new unless you actually do it.
Right. Yeah.
And the good news is if you're doing it while we're still meeting at the school, you can bring people back and talk about it and quickly kind of fix up the mistakes and confusion that happened. And for example, you yourself personally, I know you got confused about something about that day, and
Yeah.
we and we had to and it was good that we could actually talk about it in person rather than you being off somewhere lost and not knowing what you were supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
We kind of got that fixed up.
Mhm.
And but nevertheless, but because the school, well, here's the thing: there's leadership in times of crisis, and there's leaderships when there's not crisis, and they're two different kinds of leadership, and it's difficult to function as a leader in a crisis if your style is or organizationally function in a time of a crisis when your organization is organized around sort of more routine day-to-day activities. And so the routine day-to-day question of what rules are we following with respect to online learning there were a set of rules that to do what I was trying to do, we couldn't follow. And so my attitude was, hey, it's a pandemic. We gotta adjust to it. But there was there was a little bit of I would say a lack of imagination in terms of how to address that problem until suddenly the school was closed. And at that point, it was like, oh, well, now teach things online. It's like,
Yeah.
now a situation where you've lost a lot of time, a lot of opportunity. You can still do things, but it's difficult when one element of human motivation is that once you've had a responsibility taken away from you, it's hard to regain momentum.